which you can check out online. And like I said, she's been fighting up at the State House harder than almost anybody, harder than anybody I know. And I have a lot of great respect for this woman, and I want you to give this lady a lot of great respect. Put your hands together and lend an ear to Miss Tonya Davis, ladies and gentlemen.
You all can do. My name is Tonya Davis, and I don't have a script, I don't have a speech, I just speak from my heart. Because this is a heart issue. You know, when I came up with the Ohio Patients Losing Patients rally, it made a lot of sense, don't you agree? Because aren't we losing patients? Aren't we tired of having our lives invaded? Because we make a choice? Don't you all agree that they shouldn't be caging up folks like animals for making a choice? You know, I started out in this movement, and it was really a selfish reason. Because I had to search out something safer than Oxycontin or morphine. My doctors really believed they were doing me good by prescribing me Oxycontin and morphine patches. All that medicine did for me, the legal medicine, was make me sit in a corner and drool. All the pharmaceuticals, when I first got sick, they had me on 78 pills a day. Now the doctors all meant well. I've got some of the best doctors in this state. But what they didn't really let me know about was that there was a safer alternative. And the reason that they were scared to tell me there was a safer alternative was because they were afraid of the federal government coming in and taking their license away because they would be brave enough to recommend it to their patient. Thank God I've got some common sense doctors. Because if they didn't use common sense, I'd probably be suffering today. Because some of these pain centers around here decide for you that you're not sick enough to have your medications if you make a choice to use marijuana or you test dirty for any other substance. So thank God that my doctors are smart. But it took me about 1.5 years to get the courage up to talk to my doctor about medical marijuana. You know, I went in his office and I go, I really have something to talk to you about, but I'm scared. He says, honey, don't be scared to tell me anything. I said, but Doc, you really don't have an idea what I'm about to talk to you about. And this was about, I don't know, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I grew a set of balls. And I sat down, you know, I'm telling people to tell their doctors to put in their records that they use marijuana as a medicine, but I wasn't taking my own medicine and my own advice. You know, that fear monger, buddy, will get you. And it'll make you scared. Folks, you can't be afraid. You really can't. Unless you're in a pain center or a pain management center. They're not under any obligation to test. They're only doing that so they can get that federal funding. They make that choice. There is nothing in Ohio law that says that a doctor has to test you for marijuana. But I didn't know that. So I go into my doctor's office, you know, and he leaves the room and comes back in and he says, now what do you want to talk to me about, Tonya? I said, well, Doc, how do you feel about marijuana as a medicine? He starts telling me, and I let him tell me, even though I already knew. "Ah, Tonya, don't you know that that is racial and greed motivated?" Which is the truth. And they're still trying to kick out people out of this country and rule people's lives. But he tells me all about Henry Enschlanger, who was our first drug czar, who decided that if white women or if the black women, or if the black people, or the black man, or the Mexican man liked it, they couldn't have it around their white women. And this was back in the time when it was politically correct. Even though they didn't learn enough by the alcohol prohibition. People are going to do what they do. That's why I wanted to have this town hall at Fountain Square. Because I think that this discussion needs to be done. You know, we've been lied to. We've been lied to a lot. And the ones that were afraid to come here today shouldn't be. But it's because of the fear. It's because of the fear-mongers and the lies. Because the only thing that has hurt or killed that has anything to do with this plant is the prohibition. Don't y'all agree it's been the prohibition that's killed people? And don't you think that it's time that we force our legislators and our lawmakers to do what the people want? They're there to be representing us, not their church or their mother. And I had a senator in the state of Ohio tell me, "Tonya, I'm with you. But at the end of the day, I have to face my mother and my church." That man got reelected. Y'all put him back in office. Every person that's in office right now, y'all put in there. Now you're all throwing me in front of the Republicans. Thanks. But I'm not afraid of them. I figure they put their pants on the same way I do. And I'm not going to be afraid. I'm going to take the mic a little bit later as well. But as long as, and I'm telling you right now, there's Mark Emery sitting in prison, federal prison. They yanked him. This is how much our freedoms are being taken away. They yanked him from his home country, Canada, for some seeds. Now he's got a 5-year prison sentence, federal prison sentence, away from his country because our country thinks it's God. I am so sick to death of folks getting their doors kicked in. Dayton, Ohio has better sense than allowing its law enforcement to harass a couple kids. Now, Jenna Van Houten and Colton Tant are not thugs, are not out selling crack and heroin and methamphetamine, all of those that are killing our young people. They're not doing that. All they wanted to do was have a choice.